Hey, what's up? Good afternoon, everybody. Audio and sports fans alike. This is Sam Crow, here to bring you another episode of The Sports Show. Today, as of course, if you didn't tell from the title of the episode and the description, this is our Super Bowl Special Edition episode. I mentioned this previously that we were going to do this. Today is the big game day. Super Bowl 57 in full effect. Kickoff is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tonight, Sunday, February 12th. Hope you guys will enjoy the game. If you're not a sports fan, or you're a family member or a friend, go to a Super Bowl party, have a good time. There's all kinds of neat things you can do. Great food. What more could you want, right? That's what we're all about. That's what's all the best part of it, of the big games like this. And again, if you are a sports fan and love NFL and watching football games, this fits right into your wheelhouse. So there you go. So we're going to dive right in here. We'll give some announcements towards the end of the episode for you guys for what's coming up. But this is a special edition extra. If you guys missed out, I will mention this. We did do the What's Up Bro podcast show last night, and Friday night was our special Valentine's Day weekend episodes. So if you missed that out, go check it out. Those episodes are now up and available for anywhere you listen to your podcasts. You can download those episodes to your favorite device if you so choose. But if you listen live too, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And if you're listening live today, great to have you here. So this, I got to say, and if you guys followed the episode so far, you know, totally was way off of my prediction based. I said it would be the Bengals and the 49ers in the Super Bowl. Boy, was I wrong. It is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles squaring off tonight to see who is the new NFL reigning champion. Both are number one seeded teams. If you follow football closely, the top seeds are the best teams that are there. Should be a good game, a good slugfest. I'm going to give you guys my final thought for final score predictions, all that sort of great stuff. Excuse me. We're going to talk about some newsworthy news around the NFL to close out the 2022 season, because technically tonight is the close of it, even though I know we're in 2023. It's weird how the schedule works, but this will be the end. And got some big stories, some not so much. Definitely some things we'll cover to kind of fill this gap up as well. But let's get into it. So, boy, what a round of conference championships we had. Now, if you saw that Bengals-Chiefs game, gotta say, I'm really disappointed in Cincinnati. They had that game pretty well in hand for the most part, except that the huge loss at the end, that big penalty that really gave the Chiefs new life and sent them propelling with a field goal kick into the Super Bowl. It's got to be a gut crusher. You know, nobody likes to lose, especially in a championship game, but the best teams win. So, you know, you can't fault them, Kansas City for that. But I'm hoping that the Cincinnati Bengals, I like Joe Burrow. I think he's going to be built to play there for a while. I think they can keep that team pretty well intact. So I feel like there's a good opportunity for the franchise to move forward. I mean, they might lose some pieces in the offseason. We'll have to see what the financials look like when the new league year begins and free agency starts, who they might add, who they could draft, all that neat stuff. But I think they're built to come back. So we should see Cincinnati in the playoffs. But I got to say, and then on the flip side, give credit to Philadelphia. I mean, the 49ers had an absolute collapse. They were running high. Loving Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, who seems to be, and all indications are, even from the teammates, I know George Kittle was the most recent 49er player to advocate that Purdy should be the starter going forward. And I think it's going to be between him and Trey Lance. I think the 49ers are ready to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo. That could be a fun carousel to see where Jimmy G ends up. There's a lot of other teams looking for a quarterback. That carousel has changed, especially with the sudden, well, I shouldn't say sudden, but the official announcement of retirement of Tom Brady, who some teams are targeting. However, there's some interesting things we want to mention there, too, if you guys haven't been following the news lately. So all that great stuff. But definite collapse. With Christian McCaffrey in tow, and the Niners they just totally fell apart. And again, give credit to the Eagles. They had a great game. But I don't know. The Niners just, again, all the great teams do it. You know, they run high either the entire season or most of the season. When the game comes time for it to count, they just can't capitalize, and they choke. And I mean, again, it's not to make fun of or poke fun at the 49ers, but they got to do a hell of a lot better than what they did against the Eagles. So maybe next year, I think they have a chance to come back, and if they put some right pieces there, they could. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's going to be an exciting game tonight. I believe, if I remember correctly, Rihanna is the halftime show. If you guys like that, I don't personally as much. Sometimes I'll watch it, but if you enjoy that kind of entertainment, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be great all the way around. My family's having a big party tonight, in a manner of speaking. We're going to have some good food, some good times together. It's going to be awesome. So don't really care who wins, but I will be rooting for Kansas City, just as a nod for that, and for several reasons. More so, rooting for Andy Reid to kind of stick it to Philly, because just for that kind of relationship they had there and the way that things turned out now. So, love to see him clinch another title there. But we'll see. Best team will win. That's how it's going to go out. But with that being said here, we'll come into this. What do I think is the final prediction? Well, I will say this. I think it will be a close game. If, we learned anything from these last two teams that are standing at the top of the mountain, looking to see who plants their flag for victory, should be a good slugfest. I think it'll be a really tight window. My final prediction will be, I'm going to predict the Kansas City Chiefs defeat the Eagles in a stunner 27-24 within a field goal. I really think that's what's going to come down to. If you guys agree with me or disagree with me, for sure, let me know. You can send some messages to our official email at the studio. If you want to comment if you're listening live, you can during chat, you can, or on our social media page, wherever you want to do that, that'd be great. Let us know. Let me know. I'm curious to hear too. But that's kind of my final prediction there. It could go 30-24, maybe by a touch. I really don't think a touchdown is going to separate the teams. I really don't, unless a total collapse happens. So we will see. However, to be noted, though, as it's always said, we will know pretty much the momentum from the game. We'll see how it goes at the beginning. Team that makes the fewest mistakes has the best chance to win, obviously. So we'll see how that unfolds and how that plays going forward, as well as what will happen in the game, because we never know. Look at Super Bowl 51, 28-3. Falcons were crushing the Patriots, and they turn it around and come back and win in overtime. So you can never count anything out. Anything is possible. It could happen. Should happen. So it's just going to be fun to watch. I'm really excited, too. If you guys like me are similar, too, I love the Super Bowl commercials. I'm hoping they're great this year. I haven't heard too many details. Again, if you've heard any of that, let us know. Send us some messages there, or send us on social media. I'd love to know, too, what you guys, if you've heard any details. I haven't heard too much, but should always be entertaining. They usually are. We're kind of hoping for the best there, but, again, it's just the whole environment, the whole entertainment of everything together. It makes it really a special kind of night. So, looking forward to that as well. Going to be great. We got some great key players here. Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs, Jalen Hurts for the Eagles, really establishing himself as a premier quarterback. Could be the quarterback the Eagles needed. Really great tight ends there. Dallas Goedert for the Eagles, Travis Kelce. And you know what? If we break it down, let's look at position-wise, because I really want to... I know a lot of times they do this. Let me pull this up here, because I want to look at the roster. I'm going to tell you who I think has the edge. Now, you guys might be familiar with this. You might not be. A lot of times there will be analysts who do who has the edge based on looking at the roster, the coaching staff, all that great stuff. So we're going to see... I'll break it down for you by position. I will say this is very interesting. We have two former, at least I can think of, two former Buccaneer players that are going for rings tonight. Ndamukong Suh, who joined the Philadelphia Eagles late during the season, has a chance for a second ring, I want to say now. Yeah, because I think that's right. He had a chance but lost to the Patriots when he was with the Rams. So this would be a second ring for him. Ronald Jones II, former Bucs running back, is with the Kansas City Chiefs. He has a chance for a second ring. So it's kind of a neat factor there. Also, some highlights to note in case you didn't know this, and this has been going around. This is the first time, really, in NFL history that two brothers are going up against each other. Jason Kelce of the Philadelphia Eagles and Travis Kelce will square off to see which brother takes home another ring. Each one has one already. Looking at this stat, too, I mean, look at this. Philadelphia is a 1.5 favorite according to Fox Sports. This is impressive. Chiefs and Eagles, both 14-3, had a hell of a season. So it all culminates tonight. We'll see what happens there. So let's break this down by position just to see who has the edge. Let's going to start with the coaching because I think that's obviously a good place to start. Head coaches, we have Andy Reid of the Kansas City Chiefs and Nick Sirianni of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Sirianni's done some magical things. He might get the award for Coach of the Year this year, but if I'm going based on experience, I'm giving the slight edge. Who has the advantage to the Kansas City Chiefs? Obviously, Andy Reid has familiarity with Philadelphia. He's already won a Super Bowl with Kansas City. He's had, been in the league for a long time, so I think that experience is something not to be undervalued. I think that's where that can help them benefit Kansas City greatly. So I give the edge to Kansas City as far as head coach. Now, as far as quarterback position, this is a difficult one too. I'm actually tempted to say, to be safe, I want to say they're dead even, because really, you could say Patrick Mahomes has the slight edge, but Jalen Hurts has been lighting it up. So I would say they're pretty much dead even at this point, just based upon seeing how the plays have been going, and just really the overall skill set that he's displayed. And again, very much, they're very similar in nature, and so it's really hard to determine that. But I feel like ultimately I have to say I would go even with that, just because I think that's a really fair comparison as far as quarterback wise. And again, it's really difficult, and you guys may or may not agree with me, and you guys might have your opinions, and by all means share your take on that. Would love to get your thoughts there and see how you guys feel too. But that's just based off of that, so that's what I'm going off of a pure assessment. So now I don't know if we want to break this down entirely by position. I might summarize this a little bit, but maybe some of the positions will feature here. So if we look at the offense, now, see, again, this is difficult. I think I will say, if we're going specific position-wise, I don't think the running backs, I think they're pretty well evenly matched for the most part. I think Kansas City might have a slight edge just because of the dual threat they have there. Now, and I will give the edge to receiving to the Eagles just because A.J. Brown's had a heck of a year, as has Devontae Freeman. So, not that Kansas City doesn't have good receivers, but I just think the slight edge is due to Philly there. As far as tight end goes, again, both good tight ends. You got to give it to Kansas City because Travis Kelce is just a complete beast. I think that's really, and again, nothing against Dallas Goedert, but I think there's a slight edge there. So they're pretty evenly well matched. Offensive line-wise, both really have done very well. So this is really a unique opportunity. Now, I also want to mention another player of note on Kansas City side, Joe Thuney, former New England Patriot, who has, I believe he has 2 rings already. This could be a 3rd ring for him. That's a great spot there. Beefs up that O-line. So, really, I mean, Kansas City, I could say maybe have a slight edge over Philly, but not much. Now, if we look at the defensive side of the ball, again, really very well evenly matched. I mean, both, you could argue different positions have maybe some. I know, let's see, going to the front 4, I think Philadelphia got to give an edge there in line, but it's tight. I can't even secondary, maybe Kansas City, I'm not sure. And then you have the kicking spot. I think the kicking spot has to go to Kansas City. Harrison Butker is an all-star kicker there. Nothing against Jake Elliott, but I think that they have a slight edge. So this is the type of game that you really want to have. These teams are so evenly matched. And as a matter of fact, let's go through this. Let's look at these are team stats per the team, kind of I think on the average for a season. If you look at just these numbers, looking at broken down here, points per game, 29.2 for Kansas City, 28.1 for Philly, almost exactly identical. Points allowed per game, Philly has a better option, only 7 allowed, Kansas City allowed 20. Total yards, that's combining a passing and rushing, 424.7 for Kansas City, 404.3 for Philly. Again, very closely matched. Yards allowed, Kansas City 351, Eagles 21.5. So there are some stats that Philadelphia does have advantage over there. So Kansas City needs to have a solid performance, is I think what we're looking at here based upon these stats. I think it's fair to say by comparison that Kansas City is going to have a breakout game. I think really they need to just really maximize their potential here. And again, key thing, fewest mistakes made by the team, fewest penalties given up, turnovers, etc., is going to seal the deal there. So that's as best I think as I can describe it. I think that's a great way to do it. The breakdown is just incredible. This is going to be great. I think it's going to be an awesome game, and that's what you want in a Super Bowl. You don't want anybody killing anybody, and that's not going to happen, I don't believe, tonight. So this should be an awesome game. This should be great for everybody, entertaining as well, and really just going to be a lot of fun for everybody all the way around. So we'll see. Let me go. Again, we'll see how that goes. I've been wrong up to this point now. I had a break there, hoping I can come back with this for a win, but we'll see. Time will tell. The game kicks off in a few hours, so we'll find out at that point for sure. Let's take a short break here, you guys. We'll come back. We might talk a little bit more details of the game. I think we covered a lot of it. But I do want to talk about some other interesting off-season storylines, potentials, and some things like that that are noteworthy that could be of interest. Just a little bit to give you guys some of the headlines that have been up there in case you are not up to date. So stick around, stay tuned for more of the What's Up Bro Sports Show. I'm glad you guys are tuning in. Hope you guys are getting fired up, getting all your party plans together, getting your food ready, prepared. I got some of that work to do shortly here myself. It's going to be fun, going to be awesome. Have a great one with your friends and family, and just enjoy the time together. It's always a special opportunity. Stay tuned, enjoy some of these tracks. We're going to come back. We're going to talk more NFL here on the Sports Show. I'll see you guys in a minute. Do not go away. Come on back. See you in a few.
Soundstripe. Soundstripe.
Hey audio fans, are you looking for fun and excitement? Have you been searching for that special show? You know, the one complete package you want in a podcast? Then check out the What's Up Bro podcast show and experience what true entertainment is all about. Stay tuned and don't miss the action. Available on your favorite streaming services, including YouTube. Thank you for all your support. And as always, we'll see you at the show.
We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back to the show with more in just a moment. Please stay tuned.
Soundstripe. 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 Soundstripe.
All right, welcome back, guys. Thanks for hanging out there for that little break. Hope you guys are having a good one. If you're just tuning in, this is the What's Up Bro Sports Show doing our Super Bowl Sunday special. Hope you guys are excited for the game tonight. Hope you got some great plans. It's going to be awesome. Just looking forward to a great time. If you missed the portion of the beginning of the show, I did talk about and gave my predictions for the final score of the game, some insights into the players and coaches, all that great stuff. So if you missed that, you can go back and check that out. Always available for you guys for your entertainment. Now, going forward here, we're going to go into the latter part and towards the end of the show for today. It's going to be not a super long episode because not everybody's busy, got a lot of prep work, and I didn't want to make it super long-winded, but I do wanted to spend a little time, some time with you guys there in preparation for this. So, we're going to talk here, though, and just explain a little bit about some of the off-season potential moves or some of the news that's been circulating, things we're hearing across the league, all that sort of great stuff. Now, I do want to start with a big one that I feel is important because this has been circulating around, and I'm going to explain this in detail and get to the point. I want to just kind of retrace a little bit here to give you sort of the setup here for this. So as you guys noted, or if you missed the episode before, we do have it out there. We did a special breaking news episode when we heard the news officially launch that NFL quarterback and GOAT Tom Brady had announced he is retiring for good, quote-unquote, per his own words, and not planning to come back and play football anymore. Now, the story for that goes even further. The other day, it was announced and broken on an article from ESPN. Tom Brady officially penned a letter and submitted paperwork into the NFL and NFL Players Association to confirm that he is retiring. Now, one of the things in that article said was that this silences any doubt that Tom has a chance to come back at any point. So I thought about that and thought, that is not correct at all. Now, there has been since that time, another article from another spot, I forget where it came from, that said something to the contrary of, that can't be the case, that's not the case. NFL players submit paperwork and submit their retirement for pension and all that sort of stuff. They can do that. That doesn't mean they can't come back. There's been players that they've already submitted their paperwork and so forth. They just have to apply for reinstatement to come back into the league. Now, is it more red tape and more of a headache than not doing that and sending out those papers in? Absolutely, which is also why I feel Rob Gronkowski didn't do that a few years back for that very reason. And I don't think, again, because he was still wavering between playing or not. It just makes it easier, a direct more path back to the field when you don't submit the paperwork. So, let's just be honest up front there, that doesn't necessarily mean anything entirely as far as, the ability for Tom to come out of retirement play if he so chooses. Now, I've said this, and I still stand by this, because I believe, truthfully, that Tom is done. However, and a lot of fans have been picking at this, and I want to just address this. I've seen this all over the place. Tom hasn't really helped the situation entirely. He was asked on Colin Cowherd, who's a sports analyst, recently on his show, if there was any chance, like even a 1% chance, Tom could be talked into playing again. Tom sort of again, put a close on his football career, but he didn't necessarily say no. And I know people say, well, you can't really read into that because he kind of did answer the question. It does kind of leave interest there. What's even more interesting, Tom Brady on his podcast earlier this week, or technically last week now, if you count, because Sunday's the first day of the week technically, he told Jim Gray on that podcast, it was discussed, his reasons, I didn't hear the entire episode, I didn't listen to it really, but I believe it was posed a question of reasons for his retirement and so forth. Tom made it clear that it's not because he can't play, nor does he not want to play. He just felt like that decision was going to come, he'd rather make it now than later, etc. But not certain what the future holds. Very interesting. I want to point that out. I think it's a slim to none chance that Tom comes back, but when you leave even that doorway cracked even just a little bit, it does spark controversy there and makes you think about it. In addition to not only that, Tom did announce on Colin Cowherd's show that he would not be starting his Fox broadcasting career until the fall of 2024, so more than a year from now. It's also very interesting. Now, time could be off to decompress, and he hasn't been training, and according to reports, I know his father, Tom Sr., came on and said, Tommy Jr. was tired of taking hits. Maybe true, and I'm not trying to stir the rumor mill or the shit pot, if you will, whatever you want to call it, but I just think it's really interesting to point that out because you really don't know. You don't have any idea or indication, and it could go any which way. So while I'm not saying hang up your jerseys and leave your Brady jerseys out just in case, I'm not saying that, giving some time off could be an indicator. Now, I've always said too, especially right now, if there's ever even, or if at all a remote chance Tom comes back, I don't think it would be this season. I think he needs more time away to really feel what retirement is like and what he's doing now and so forth. Doesn't mean, again, it's going to change his mind. It could only solidify his retirement further, and that's what we're all participating for. You just never know. And I've seen this posted, people say he's going to be crazy to come out of retirement for a second time and then end up having to retire for a third time. And yes, it might be in some cases, but if he wants to play, he wants to play. I've also heard that said, and I agree with this statement. If you're going to keep playing, and Tom's going to be 46 this year, he's only got a few years really left, I think, of prime football he could play. It's not going to be easy. He said as he's gotten into his 40s, it's getting hard. It's really hard to maintain. But I've said, too, if you feel like there's anything left, you may as well go until you can't anymore. Because once you pass that threshold, there's really no coming back. It's not like Tom saying at 30, let's say 33 or 34, oh yeah, I'm done. Takes 2 or 3 years off and comes back at 37, says I'm going to play 2 more years. That's more realistic. This is a lot different. He's a lot further in different, darker territory, age-wise. So I think if it's going to be anything soon, it has to be now or has to be within this next year or so. And if that's the case and nothing happens, then he's definitely retired. The other flip side of that is I think the opportunity has to be there. I believe a lot of the reason, and I shared this in that episode Breaking Special we did, I don't think the opportunity was there for Tom that he really wanted. We know Tampa Bay he loves it down there, but the team is really heading towards a rebuild that, is not ideal to compete for a championship right away. So that might have been one factor, I think, specifically for Tom. In addition to, I don't think he really wants to travel and move around at this point. So I think that's really what led to making retirement a more attractive option as well, as opposed to anything else. So that right opportunity, as I said, has to really come to fruition where it's the right place, it's the right time. The team is stacked, is jacked up and ready to go, even just on offense, or it could be both sides of the ball. But either way, they have to be prepared. So, if that's the case, could we see Tom Brady in the future? I think anything is possible. We just have to wait and see. But just to give you guys some insights, that's kind of what's been floating around right now, and that's kind of my take for that. We'll have to see. We'll follow as the story goes. We'll update you guys and give more details when we see them as they come. Another interesting footnote, we know the Broncos have a new head coach in Sean Payton, who's already beginning to work, from what I understand, from what I've seen article-wise. I think there's some potential there. I think Denver's got to make some moves, but could get interesting. It's going to make it a really interesting division for sure. I think Denver could be competitive if they make the right move, so we'll see how that unfolds. Now, speaking of the coaching options, though, so now we know several of the head coaching vacancies have been filled. Denver landing Sean Payton. The Texans have hired former linebacker D'Amico Ryans, who's now the new head coach. Frank Reich, former Colts coach, is now head coach of the Carolina Panthers. Let's see, what else? I think I'm missing one. Who else was officially hired? It's been so long, I can't even remember a lot of the openings anymore. I think there was one more. I honestly don't remember. If it comes to me, I'll think of it. So, still a couple head coaching vacancies that are out there. Arizona's still looking for a head coach. Indianapolis Colts are looking for a head coach, still holding interviews. There might be one other one. I can't recall. But the reason I bring this up is, according as of today, according from ESPN, the breaking news for that is that it appears, according to sources, nothing's confirmed yet, the Indianapolis Colts are looking to target Shane Steichen, who is the offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. He has made it to the second round. I think there's a third round of interviews coming up, as well as other candidates. Interim head coach Jeff Saturday, who coached the Colts after Frank Reich was fired. Lions defensive coordinator Aaron Glenn, former corner in the league. Rams defensive coordinator, former head coach Raheem Morris. They were all big candidates there, so it looks like Steichen could be the next head coach of the Colts. Nothing finalized. Philadelphia Eagles are still playing today, so there can't be any form of talking or compensation or discussions as far as making it official yet. They have to wait till either the Eagles win the Super Bowl or the Super Bowl's over. If they lose, whatever the case is, season has to officially come to an end. But that, according to multiple sources, seems to be the next head coaching vacancy that will fill, which just leaves the Arizona Cardinals, who last count noted from all information given, looking like they're favoring offensive coordinator, I think he's offensive coordinator for the Giants, Mike Kafka, former quarterback in the NFL, looks like to be the lead candidate. Lou Armano, who's the defensive coordinator for the Bengals, is also a top candidate for the Cardinals. It's kind of coming down to the final two. So we'll see in the coming days, maybe a couple of weeks, how that unfolds. But some interesting updates there. Another interesting point I noted from today, I saw this too, that's interesting. Vic Fangio, former Broncos head coach, defensive coordinator, is hired by, who was he hired by? Was it Miami? I think it was the Miami Dolphins. Apparently has agreed to temporarily aid the Philadelphia Eagles in their matchup with Kansas City today. So the Eagles are pulling out of their bag of tricks to try to ensure them every chance to win, which is very interesting. So we'll see if that aids them in any way, shape, or form possible. May or may not. Eagles' defense has been great, but that just adds another potential smart, intelligent brain to cope with that. Could be the edge that Philly needs to win the game. Could come down to the defense. Who knows? We will see. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all of the big articles that are coming out. We'll keep you guys posted for that. This is going to pretty much wrap up the NFL season. Unless something drastic happens in the coming weeks or months, we will report that there. But we're going to see about what's coming next. I know baseball season's coming up. We're probably going to prep for that. If you're a baseball fan, it'll be a great time to listen to the show. Hope you guys will tune in and be excited for that. Hope you guys really enjoy it. Have a great day. It's game day. It's the Super Bowl. Again, whether you like sports or not, have a good time. Go to a Super Bowl party, have your own, have some good food, play some games. I know a lot of friends that will do that don't like to watch the game. They will play games. You can do all kinds of stuff, young and old, have friends over with kids, all that great stuff. It's awesome. It's just a great opportunity to spend with everybody together. Hope you guys will enjoy that. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully, as always, the best team will win. We'll be excited to see that one there. But we thank you guys so much for listening there. We'll see you guys back again soon on the Sports Show. See what's coming up next. We'll keep you guys posted with updates. As always, you can check out our main studio account for different updates there. Catch the What's Up Bro podcast show episodes this coming weekend. You can catch again. If you missed the episodes the last 2 days, check those out as well. Got some special guests lined up hopefully down the road. New episodes, new great content, same great entertainment as always for you guys. Thank you all so much. Have a great day. Kickoff time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys will enjoy. As always, we thank you. We love and appreciate all your support. And we'll see you next time at the show.
We'll be right back.